How's it going, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Thank you so much for tuning in to Draw Phase. I am your host, Low Tier Hero, and I have received numerous requests for a counter guide against the meta deck Runick Sprights. Therefore, I have decided to provide you all with a comprehensive guide on the available text that can help you counter and gain a better matchup against Runick Sprights. In the upcoming format starting February 28th, going all the way through March, we are going into a Runick Spright format. So expect to see this deck anywhere in Platinum and in Diamond. So just be aware, and I hope this guide can help you all out. In this guide, I will be covering the top 5 cards that I believe will be most effective against Runick Sprights. I will also mention other cards that can be useful to maintain control of the duel. However, I will not be discussing the obvious cards such as Maxi, Ash Blossom, Effect Veiler, and Infinite Impermanence, since this guide aims to provide additional options for defense and offense against Runick Sprights. So let's begin by discussing the top 5 cards that I believe are crucial for a better matchup against Runick Sprights. Coming in at number 5, we have Dimensional Barrier. This card is excellent against Runick Sprights since you can anticipate if the opponent is going to use their Runick Sprights to go into XYZ or fusions. You can activate Dimensional Barrier to claim XYZ and prevent Gigantic Spright from coming out, or you can go ahead and call out fusions to prevent Hugin from coming out to search and protect the Runick Fountain. Now, it is a bit slow because you have to set it. However, if you are going first, this card is detrimental against Runick Sprights. Number 4, we've got Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. If you have space in your extra deck, you can run Gigantic Spright, Spright Elf, and activate Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries before the opponent can set up their board. This can delay their combo and board and hinder their gameplay. It doesn't matter which one you hit, but I would recommend targeting Gigantic Elf. This card can also be used against Runick Sprights to hit Hugin. It would stop the search and protection of Runick Fountain. Gigantic Spright, Spright Elf, and Runick Fountain are the choke points for this deck. These are the cards that you want to save your resources to hit. Number 3, we got Ghost Ogre. This card is often underrated, but it can harm Runick Sprights by hitting their choke point, which I mentioned previously is Gigantic Spright. Gigantic Spright has an on-summon effect, and hitting it with Ghost Ogre will prevent it from using its detach effect. It can also destroy Runick Fountain and prevent recycling Runick spells from the graveyard. I know a lot of players are a little iffy about Ghost Ogre, but I'm telling you, Ghost Ogre can not only hit and hurt Runick Spright, but it can also hurt cards and decks like Sword Soul, Math Mech. It can really do some damaging cards, even against the spell cards for FLOODGATE. So I think Ghost Ogre is flying underneath the radar, similar to Ghost Reaper, and I would definitely encourage you to try these 2 cards out. For number 2, we've got Dark Ruler No More. Runick Sprights are notorious for setting up impossible to beat boards, and if you don't have a card to stop their effects, such as Carrot and Red Elf, you are likely to lose. Dark Ruler No More is a great choice to counter their play since it can activate and prevent monsters from being activated after resolutions, and if you aren't chaining to Dark Ruler No More with a spell or trap, you cannot activate monsters' effects in response to Dark Ruler No More. To be quite honest with you, I think it's a better option than Forbidden Droplet and can help you wipe out the board and help you also scale your own board to build board presence. And number 1 on our list, we've got Dimension Shifter. This card is the best hand trap at the moment going up against Runick Sprights, and it can decimate that entire deck. However, the only downside is that you need to draw it. If you do draw it, your chances of winning against Runick Sprights are exponentially high because they may not want to risk losing their monsters and spells by playing against a Dimension Shifter. And if they do, they will lose their quick play spells, and Runick Fountain and Elf will become useless because Elf won't be able to recycle any sprites and Runick Fountain won't be able to recycle any used quick play spells, preventing them from special summoning from the grave and drawing cards off of Runick Fountain. Not only that, but Dimension Shifter is also going to harm every other deck except for FLOODGATE and Exosister, but every other deck literally gets hurt by Dimension Shifter so bad to the point that because it is single elimination, you may be gaining a lot of free wins this way. Those are the top 5 cards that I would encourage you to try as a tech in your deck to play against Runick Sprights. Moving on to the other counter options available, I understand that many duelists prefer not to use floodgates since it slows down the tempo of the game, and I know that floodgates are also unappealing. However, if you do not mind using floodgates, the following cards can be added to your arsenal. If you're looking for a card that completely stops the Runick strategy, you are looking at Skill Drain. It is going to stop every single monster summon on their board. At this point, the only cards that you would have to worry about are going to be the Runick cards that will be destroying back row, which I think aren't that many. They probably only run 3 back row removal cards. So floodgates are really good against Runick Spright. The only issue is getting them off quick enough before they build their boards, and you're just going up against an impossible to beat board. Summon Limit is another great tech choice for floodgates, preventing special summon spamming and slows down their buildup. You've got Imperial Iron Wall. It doesn't hurt sprites directly, but it does significantly slow down the Runick strategy in Runick Sprites. You've got Anti-Spell Fragrance, which I think is the better of all the floodgate choices because Runick Spright consists of only monsters and spells. You may have somebody that's running an Imperm or some other trap, but I guarantee you for most generic Runick Spright builds, you're looking at monsters and spells only. The last card on the floodgate list is going to be NECROVALLEY. NECROVALLEY is one of the best choices against Runick Sprites. They won't be able to use Runick Fountain to recycle their quick play spells, and they won't be able to special summon and spam their sprites from the graveyard. That is also another choice, which I would probably put at number 2 after Anti-Spell Fragrance. And then I would put Skill Drain at number 3, Summon Limit at number 4, and Imperial Iron Wall at number 5. Overall, these tips and strategies combined with the specific card text mentioned earlier can help you have a better matchup against Runick Spright and increase your chances of winning. Remember, it's important to stay focused and patient even when facing a tough opponent. And we're going to see a lot of these in the upcoming days. Best of luck to everybody. And as always, if you like this video and you want to give us a chance to become a resource for you, we would definitely appreciate it very much. I am your host, Low Tier Hero. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the content for more updates on Yu-Gi-Oh strategies. Your support is much appreciated. Best of luck, my friends, and let's beat Runick Spright together.